remember at Leesville the Christmas play. I'll Be Home for Christmas with Dolly Parton.
That's what I was going to say, Carolyn.
And who played Dolly Parton, Carolyn?
Of course, me.
There we go.
Christmas in this season is very joyous for most people, but it's important to remember it's not joyous for all.
That's right.
It's a heavy season. It's a wearing season. It's a sad season for a lot that tend to get overlooked.
I always encourage them to keep it simple. Keep it simple. And if it's 30 minutes, that's 30 minutes of quality time with them.
Sure.
Sure did. That's exactly right. To go get some ice cream.
Yes. And it's so exciting to be a part of.
It'll be amazing.
It really is. It's one of the biggest things I think we've learned.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being here. We have a fabulous show planned with some great information that you're not going to want to miss. So, without further ado, grab your favorite cup of coffee, pull up your comfiest chair, and join us right here on Around the Table with Vickie. I'm your co-host, Chris Runk, and across the table from me, as always, is your host, my mother. We call her Queen V, Vickie Runk.
Oh, my goodness. You got to quit sharing our secrets right
You like
here.
that one?
I did like that one. It's so good to be back in the studio talking about all things that we love to talk about, which is some tricks and trade of how to take care of seniors, not only in a care facility, but at home as well. So I thought the next couple of episodes should really have something to do with how we can communicate to the public on some of the things that we've done through the years, how important Christmas is to our seniors. And so we brought two of our veterans here today. Carolyn Wooten has been with us 12 years. She started at Leesville Road, recently transferred to our memory care facility at Pearls of Life. She's a licensed nursing home administrator, a licensed assisted living administrator, and she and I are about on the same age wave here, so we go back to the old school of doing things, right, Carolyn?
That's right.
I'm so glad to have you here because we're going to really be able to hear from you on some things that we've learned through the years. And, of course, Mary Beth has been with us before. She is our regional director, and she has been with us 13 years. And Mary Beth's role in our company is go from one facility to the other, making sure that the administrators are supported and that if there are any issues with families, any issues with care whatsoever, she is directly involved. Thank you, Mary Beth, for coming back. She also runs our daytime center. She does a lot of things, and who better to have here at the table today than two of my favorite women in healthcare. And I thought we would just kind of do a little bit of talking about some of the traditions that we've had through the years, Carolyn, at Runk and Pratt at Christmas time, and how important it is to keep up those traditions. We had just talked about, Christopher, before the camera started rolling, that you've been doing this since you were 2 years old, and you're 35 now. So you've seen a lot of Christmases at Runk and Pratt, and you have a lot of fond memories. So let's start with you.
I have seen a lot of Christmas. You are correct at Runk and Pratt and the whole Runk family. We, Mom, you don't do anything small, and Christmas is a very special time to my mother, my entire family, and it was no surprise that she wants to share that with the seniors in our communities. And it's a special time for them as well. I mean, that is their home, and our job is to make Christmas as special as possible. You talk about many times on the show depression and loneliness among seniors, and this is a time where families come in and they get to see families that they maybe haven't seen in a long time, and we get to have special memories, and Santa comes in, and all the toy drives and everything that we've grown throughout
33 years.
33 years. Thank you for helping me there. And it is a special time. And you're right. I've seen a lot. I remember very small gatherings to what they are today, where a building like Liberty Ridge has 200 seniors there living. By the time you get friends and family and parents and grandparents and kids and aunts and uncles, I mean, there could be 400 or 500 people in there celebrating, if not more. And it gets big. But I mean, I remember little small Christmas parties back at specifically Leesville Road.
Right.
I kind of grew up there.
Yeah.
And you would go in every year, Mom, and you would put up Christmas trees. and you would theme those Christmas trees, much like you do inside of our own home.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, that's special for you to be able to bring that into those communities and your touches. And you're known for your decorations, right? So why not put that onto our seniors? And they love it so much. But not only for the seniors, but we do a lot of stuff for our staff.
Mm-hmm.
So staff Christmas parties, we want to make them feel special at the holidays. They've worked so hard all year long. So what can we do to make them feel appreciated? And, just some small tokens of our gratitude. I remember us growing out and, we would have to grab 6 televisions from Sam's or Walmart the night before, and we're loading it in the car, and, we're giving, and the residents would love
To watch it.
to watch those staff members get honored. Or
Now, that's when we were really small.
we were really small.
Carolyn.
Yeah.
I remember Leesville Road.
I was 8, 10 years old probably at that time.
So we could do things like that. Now we've grown so much that we can't give away that many televisions. But it was fun, gathering. And I wanted to instill in you kids that I never wanted you to forget how important it was to remember others at the time of Christmas. And so it's fun to go back there. Now, I go way back to even Spout Springs in my mind. And that little tiny 19-bed, home, which was a house that we started in. And I still remember some of the residents. They were all lower income. A lot of them didn't have a lot. And I can remember when our first year there, here we are bringing in these huge Christmases for them. And I remember Claude specifically in his flannel shirts. He was just a farmer from Spout Springs, and we had him. He had been there for a couple years prior to us, and just the fact that somebody had given him a pair of socks. And Walmart, the local Walmart here in Lynchburg, used to donate tons of stuff to our seniors, especially those that were, underprivileged and didn't have a lot. And I can just remember the looks. I'll never forget the looks on their faces, because for some of them, that was the first time that they had really had Christmas. And there they were, senior citizens, which is sad. But there's a lot of people in our community that are experiencing that as well. So we work with the local Salvation Army. We're huge supporters of Salvation Army. We make sure that we're working with our school systems through the local Amherst County Sheriff's Department, Bedford County, Campbell County. Our residents collected a bunch of gifts for the toy drive, and it gave them purpose. And then it just gets their mind off of themselves and onto something more important, that the fact that there could be some children here in our local communities that wouldn't have if we weren't stepping up and helping contribute. So those are all good things to point out today.
You mentioned Walmart. You jogged a memory. I was real young, so you'll have to help me out with a name. But I remember one woman from Walmart. Was it Sandra? Was there? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think it was.
You remember
Sandra.
the face?
Yes, I do. And she was always so excited when we would pull up and get all the donations, and the administrators would then start to distribute throughout. And those were the good old days. Those were when companies understood how important it was to give back. And I think we may have lost a little bit of that in the United States, but we surely appreciated it while it lasted.
Well, let's talk. Mary Beth, help me out here with. We do so many fantastic, and another fond memory that I have. I'm really going down memory lane here. Is Santa and Mrs. Claus coming into the communities? And I remember as a little boy, I would follow them around, take pictures, sit on their laps. It was a great time. But talk about that and what that means to the seniors.
Absolutely. I think Santa and Mrs. Santa coming is definitely a staple to the seniors. I think early November, when the decorations start coming and things are set up, the seniors start saying, wait, this tree goes here and this tree goes here. And once everything's in place and they check and see, then they know typically that's followed up with Santa and Miss Santa coming. Then grandchildren come, children come, and it becomes a wonderful family tradition for the whole family to come into the community with the resident and their loved ones and experience Santa and talk about Santa.
Yeah, I can remember from Christmas number 1 being Runkin Pratt, it was a necessity that we were not going to have a Christmas if we didn't have Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Agreed.
And then you ran the Smith Mountain Lake facility for a while, and I would always write to you, do you have your Santa?
Yes.
And Mrs. Claus, same thing with you, Carolyn. I mean, we we made sure that Santa and Mrs. Claus was always there at every home, every Christmas. And it goes back to traditions. And for some of our seniors, they'd never been exposed to that since they were a little kid. And, talking specifically about memory care now, Carolyn, since you've had some time to spend in that facility, we can't always do for those particular people, because of their special needs, what we would do for independent living or assisted living on the other side of the road from you. So let's talk a little bit about some restrictions that we have to put on for memory care during Christmas.
Well, you have to be careful with the ornaments and stuff like that. But I know coming in the mornings, Christmas music is playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a couple of ladies that's walking, and I was like, Merry Christmas. And they was like, is it Christmas? And I said, oh, it's the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's the season. And then we reminisce a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And also I think at the time we live in that moment.
That's right.
That moment that, Christmas cookies. So that day in activities, they would make cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have ceramic Christmas trees that they paint.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a little bit different at Pearls,
Yes.
but we still enjoy the music, the baking, the Christmas trees, the lighting around.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. And I think that the reality orientation that you have to do with that group every day. So the next day you come in, you have to say Merry Christmas again. And then you have to say, and then they'll say, is it Christmas? It is getting ready to be Christmas. That's something that you have to do every day. Because they will forget so easily. And educating the families, this is what's best during this time, not to overwhelm.
Agreed.
For memory care, it's sometimes to underwhelm is much better than overwhelming them because it triggers. And we don't ever really know what's going on in the mind of an Alzheimer's or demented patient. So if we see something that's triggering a memory, then we'll hold back and not approach on that again. And we train our staff to do that.
Yeah, to redirect them. But at the moment, just live in that moment with them and let them express, because I believe they go back to that long-term memory.
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
do.
And I think, speaking of overwhelming situations, as important as it is for residents and seniors to go out with their families, typically at that stage at Pearls, it's not always beneficial for the resident or the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
We always have a Christmas tradition of, for example, Christmas night, we have 25 family members that get together. Well, their loved one may be on a different journey at that time, and that's very overwhelming. It's too loud. It's emotional. Seeing the spread of food, it's too many choices.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So we also do a lot of education on the time of day and sometimes simplifying that world. Maybe we have 6 family members instead of 25.
That's right. Oh, we
Maybe
do it
we
over a
lessen.
course of days.
Yes.
Like 6 can come in today, 6 will come in tomorrow. And educating the families too, this is what's best for the resident is so important. I was reading the other day, which I do a lot on senior care and Alzheimer's and dementia, and I found it so fascinating. I was listening to a podcast and the lady said, as family members, we feel so guilty because when we go into that memory care facility, all they say is, I just want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And so as the children of that person, the resident, you're thinking, gosh, I just need to get them back home.
Yes.
What we don't realize is even if you got them back home, they're still going to say, I just want to go home.
Yes.
And you know why? Because in their mind, they're going back to when they were a child. So they want to go back to that time. And so no matter if we took them from the memory care facility that they're in back to the house that we think they want to go to, 9 times out of 10, they really want to go back to their childhood.
Yes.
So they're still not satisfied. So I think taking the time today to reassure family members that you are doing the right thing and that going home, we don't really know where that is in the mind of an Alzheimer's patient.
Correct.
What time period is that? And I think it's been proven through research, most of the time it's their childhood. which was the happiest time for them.
Yes.
It's their fondest memories. It is the Christmas that they knew as a child with their parents. And Carolyn, you can talk about how many times they talk about wanting to see their parents, which proves that they really are going back in time to a time that we can't deliver. So reassuring a family member not to feel guilty during this time
Absolutely.
is something that we enjoy doing as well with orientation to the
Absolutely.
families.
And it's not uncommon for our seniors to say, take me back to the place that I came from,
Mm-hmm.
because they're home now and they don't recognize home. They really want to come back to the community because it's comfortable. It's a security
true.
blanket. It's the consistency of the routine. So we hear a lot of stories about take me back to where I came from.
Meaning
I
the
don't-
facility.
Meaning the
Right.
facility. I don't want to stay here, which was home. And then children get very confused. But you
Right.
want to go back to the facility,
Right.
but we're at your home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's also very hard.
It is, because several times I'll be out and I'll have a family member of a memory care resident say, the strangest thing happened. We took, mom out and took her out to eat, but then we dropped her back by her house and she literally was asking to go back. And they were all upset about that. And I say, no. That means we've accomplished our goal.
Absolutely.
They see the facility as their home, and there's no greater gift to you as their son, their daughter, and to us as staff to know that we've accomplished what we set out to do. And then when you phrase it like that, they feel better, but they don't want them to ever not want to go home. But for a memory care facility to be seen as home, and I mean, that's kudos to our staff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you say, in education, what for families, what would be the best time for families to visit? Especially
Earlier in the day.
in the winter months.
Before, we talk about the sundowning time, in the winter months with daylight savings time. Our days are much shorter. It's darker earlier. We always encourage our seniors to leave earlier in the day, even before lunch. 10, 11, 12 o'clock's great, and come back before 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Of course, each senior's a little bit different with their journey and their disease process and sundowning. But typically getting them back in the community and settled before dark is always best.
Much
I always
better.
encourage them to keep it simple. Keep it simple. And if it's 30 minutes, that's 30 minutes of quality time with them.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think too that we need to bring up the fact that even when they're given gifts, to make sure that they're simple and they're not overwhelming. And it could be things that they really need, like socks and underwear. And, if they're not a diabetic, then it's okay to give the candy. We don't
Yes.
want them to miss out on Christmas candy. But even assisted living can go by these rules a bit, because we never know, with the shorter days and the lack of sunshine, the lack of interaction because of the weather, that they can get confused at times too.
Correct.
And not really even have a form of dementia or Alzheimer's. So some of these rules that we're talking about can filter right into assisted living as well.
Indeed. And I would definitely recommend a lunch meal before dinner meal with family over the holiday.
So getting back to activities, I know our staff puts so much time and energy into planning these events and pulling them off at a very big, high level. What would you say is an activity year after year that constantly gets really well received or lights up the room with joy for our seniors?
Santa visits and parties. Any party surrounding food and talking about food traditions.
Making cookies. They love Elvis Christmas.
Oh,
They
can't go wrong
love-
with Elvis.
No, they love Elvis coming all the time.
And while we're talking about that, let's talk about the enormous amount of volunteers that come into all of our communities. I mean, 33 years later, I can say that we have a tremendous pool of people, from Liberty University to all the local churches to the school children, the daycares, that really come in and connect with our seniors. And I'd like to personally say thank you. Thank you for remembering our seniors, and thank you for giving back. It's nothing for us to pull up the Facebook page or Instagram page and see, these little children in there from the Caterpillar Clubhouse and Liberty Christian Academy, Timberlake Christian Schools, and all the Leesville Road Elementary that are coming over, and they don't just come. And of course, our teachers come with them, but the parents come too. And that's what I love, is that we're exposing so many people to not think so poorly of senior care. It's not scary. it's fun. And, we always have something for them too, right, Carolyn?
Yeah, we
Like,
have treats.
we have treats for the children. So
Well, that's some of my favorite. I love to pull up videos. Well, I love treats. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Any kind of Christmas treats. But pulling up those videos and those pictures and seeing the children's choirs
Mhm.
Yes.
at Christmas time.
It's special.
I mean, our seniors love children at any time of year, but you put
Yes.
them in Christmas and they're up there singing Jingle Bells.
Mhm.
I mean, it's magic.
Mhm.
And I know there's I'm thinking of a few families right now that it is a Christmas tradition for that
Yes.
family to come inside of our buildings and carol with the seniors.
Mhm.
And that just means so much to
Yeah.
our residents.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about in our next show about depression in the elderly. And I'm a firm believer that, and I, from day one of establishing Runkin Pratt companies, one of the things I was very firm with our administrators is you fill that calendar every day with something for them to look forward to. I don't want them to feel pain. I don't want them to feel like it's hopeless because, number one, they're living away from their home and they're in a community. So let's surround them with something to do. And if you pull up our Facebook pages or our websites and you look at December's calendars, 33 years later, we have knocked it out of the park. I was going to throw something in at Willow Ridge and call the Crystal this morning, who's our lead activities liaison for all activities everywhere we have. And she literally said I could not scoot that into Willow Ridge because there was nowhere to put it. So I said, well, let's just bookmark that and let's put it on for next year. And that's a great problem to have. Now, on a side note, not everybody enjoys coming out all the time. And especially if they're suffering from depression. So then it's up to our staff to recognize that and go gather and make a safe spot, maybe in the corner of a room, in the back of the room, to where they don't feel so overwhelmed, because depression makes you feel as if everything is so heavy. And so our staff is trained to recognize that and to intervene. And most of our, clients that have depression are on some sort of, routine with their doctors, which is the one thing I want to encourage everybody to do today. If you know that mom or dad is struggling from depression, do not scoot it under the table. Take them to a clinician that can help them with medications, adjust their lifestyles, encourage interaction. We talk about depression with children or even midlife crisis. We talk about that a lot. There's very few people that want to talk about depression with seniors, and it's real. Am I right, ladies? Can
It
you
is
talk
real.
about that a
It
little
is
bit?
real. Christmas in this season is very joyous for most people,
Mm-hmm.
but it's important to remember it's not joyous for all.
That's right.
It's a heavy season.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wearing season.
Mhm.
It's a sad season for a lot that tend to get overlooked.
Right. And we want you to know that there's hope.
Absolutely.
You don't have to go through it alone. You can call 434-237-7809, 434-237-2268. If you need us, you can go on the website, www.runkinpratt.com. We can help you. It's not about an admission for us. It's about how we can share information on clinicians that we would recommend. Do not scoot it and under the carpet. It is real. And I just want, I want people to know that the holidays can be wonderful for seniors, but we also have to make it be that way. It doesn't come natural. We could have a wife that's lost a husband and this is their first Christmas without him. And even living in the community, if you have a neighbor and that's the case, do not take for granted she's able to get through that alone. Take some cookies over, ask if she would like to join you in your home for a tradition. Don't just leave those seniors alone. Seek out a way that you can help and be a part of the healing process.
Absolutely. Don't just assume.
Yeah.
And then sometimes with the staff and the resident, the interaction of going to their closet and getting a special Christmas sweater out and dressing them up a little bit and bringing them back out with change of atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
makes a difference for those people.
Absolutely.
I like to talk about you can help me out with the correct name, but basically our senior angel tree.
Your angel
that
tree?
that is very impactful. Alicia Blankenship, our admissions director, does a great job going throughout our communities, highlighting residents that may not have families, that still need Christmas gifts, and we provide Christmas gifts for them. Our staff take them on, upper management take them on, but letting the public, there's still time.
Yes.
So letting the public know that we have seniors inside of our care facilities, not to forget about the kids are great, but not to forget about our seniors at this time of year as well.
Yes, we still have angels on our angel tree, and it's a company-wide angel tree to capture all our seniors in all our communities.
And how can folks get involved in that?
They can certainly reach out, call our corporate office number. We can get them in touch with Alicia to get them an angel off the tree.
I think that
Very
makes us
simple.
all feel better too, to know that we've given. I've heard people all through the community say that they are reaching out and helping, so we appreciate that. It's not always about whether that individual can afford Christmas. For us, there are several, if not plenty, inside our communities just simply doesn't have family. I'm hearing more and more about couples that are coming in that don't have children, and maybe have a niece or a nephew that's out in New Hampshire or Colorado or whatever. They haven't heard from them for a while. So again, it's reaching out and connecting during this time, which I think we're all called to do. It doesn't take much. It just takes a little. And if you don't want to go spend a lot of money on a gift, make some cookies, bake some candy and take to them. They will love that. Anything food related, they love.
What are some good examples for gifts for seniors at this time of year? Some of the necessities that they may need.
I would say toiletries, some personal care items,
Blankets,
blankets,
socks.
yeah,
Plenty of socks.
definitely.
Maybe some
Seniors
gloves.
love and seniors love traditions, and I know a lot of their seniors enjoy the traditions of fresh fruit and fresh
Yes.
nuts for
Yeah.
those that can have it.
Mhm.
They come from a generation where it was very important to get fresh fruit and nuts for the holiday because they didn't have a lot of money to go out and buy anything else. So that was a treat.
Mhm.
I know my grandfather was one of those, and every year he loved to get a shoebox of fresh fruit, apple, orange, nuts, and a Hershey bar. And he remembered that from his childhood because that's all his family could do.
Yeah.
And the family would sit down and share that. So something that simple goes a long way.
And
It's
if you're a
important.
young couple and you've got young children, think about taking this on as a tradition. Bring them into one of our care facilities, and we can direct you if you call us and reach out to us, which one would meet your personality, would meet the need of the children. It could be some independent living folks that we have that'll come down to the lobby, meet with you. Think about doing it as a tradition. It doesn't cost a lot of money, just like you said, a shoebox full of some goodies. And think about your children learning to give to a senior citizen. You're planting in that child's mind that it matters to give back. And why not adopt a grandma or grandpa and just spend a little bit of time, telling them who you are, asking them about their life. And that 30 minutes of interaction will go so far in cutting down on the hopelessness and the depression that can, really overwhelm them at this time.
As we draw near to the end of the show, I had the idea that we've all around this table have seen a lot of Runkin Pratt Christmases. I like to ask everybody one specific favorite event or memory or activity or moment that has happened inside of a community that stands out for you.
I would say for me, it's not a particular situation or an event. It's coming together with the culture that Runkin Pratt has every year. The interactions with the seniors and our staff and how important it is to merge those worlds together and how impactful it is to share it with staff's children, our seniors, their families. And sometimes it's not isolated to one event. It's the feeling. It's that I'm coming to work today and this is what's in store and this is what I'm going to do with Mrs. whomever on this hall, and my children are coming to see Santa later. It's just the incorporation of our worlds together and the culture that we create together over the holiday and how warm that makes you feel at the end of the shift or the end of the day. It's the little things that build up this time of year, and it feels good.
Well said. Well said.
And I remember at Leesville the Christmas play. I'll Be Home for Christmas with Dolly Parton.
That's what I was going to say, Carolyn.
And who played Dolly Parton, Carolyn?
Of course, me.
There we go.
And you got the nickname Dolly
Correct.
thereafter. But you had the maintenance men involved.
Uh-huh.
I still remember them coming in dressed as wise men. I mean, we had so much fun
Yeah.
because y'all really worked really hard on that. And
It was
Christopher, we
fun.
went
That
in
was
and
a
was
great
able to
play.
sit in the seat and listen and watch all their hard work. And the residents absolutely loved to see the
It was
staff
packed
performing.
with
It was
family, residents. It was
The famous Dolly's coat
Yeah.
of many
coat
colors.
of many colors. Yeah.
Yes.
You took my post, but
I'll let you end it, Mom. I'm an operations guy. I just love. You said we get to create.
Yes.
Our team, our staff gets to create, and that doesn't just begin in December on December 1st. After
Right.
Thanksgiving, that begins 2 to 3 months before
Yes.
Christmas. Getting the team together and getting into our stash of Christmas and getting the trees into the building and watching the residents watch our own team go in and decorate and have the great memories. And like you mentioned, they know where the trees go better than
Yes.
our team does.
Yes.
So that just our staff and our internal hard work that the staff put in to make Christmas special for the residents.
yeah. And as I'm sitting here, I have to say that if I can't talk about Dolly Parton's Christmas play, I will say for our family, it is so special to be able to go in during specific times that each facility is having their parties, and just to be able to shake the staff's hands and say thank you, and the excitement of us walking in and them getting to say Merry Christmas to us getting to say Merry Christmas to them and give some sort of a little message to them on how well done they've done through the year. That's always been very special for me. And of course, seeing the residents along the way is spectacular as well. But the interaction that we're able to have with our staff during the holidays, just to say thank you and that they matter. They really do matter. And without them, there is nothing, that we've got to have them. And when they hear that, whatever troubles they have at home, because there's this whole other element and there's this whole other mountain about staff and depression and all they're going through, a lot of single moms, a lot of need there as well, that they just matter. And so sometimes we don't take the time to let our staff know in different companies how much they matter. For us being care related and care communities, it is imperative that we let them know that everything they do matters to us. And that's always been a special time for us.
Absolutely. Well, Carolyn, Mary Beth, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for the discussion. What a great topic. And just as a reminder, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, if you would drop us a follow, a like, subscribe, and leave us a review, that would go a long way. Just helps get our message out even more. But thank you all for listening. Mom, you like to end each show with a quote, so the floor is yours.
Christmas traditions are about love, memory, and togetherness, with quotes highlighting how they kindle the fire of hospitality, make us feel like a child again, which we've just talked about, and bind us with conspiracy of love, reminding us that the best gifts are the presents, not the presents, and that at Christmas, all roads lead to home. I have loved this time together because I love to talk about what we do. I love to talk about what we're passionate about, and having these two sit to my left, and of course our son Christopher, who has been a part of so many Christmases at Runkin Pratt, has been very special for me. Today, if you're at home and you're making Christmas for that senior, make sure you listen to all the little tidbits that we've given you of information on how to do it more simpler, but more importantly, that you spend time together. Until next episode, I'm Vickie, and we're all right here around the table.